What's up, guys? So real quick video. This is going to be a quick data video on the crankcase pressure that we are trying to fix. So as you guys know, before all we had was Jason Schmuck's little street can, 2-10s off the front, going to a breather. Of course, this is also a dual purpose for your water overfill. What was happening was I was filling this up, I was saturating the filter, I was building a lot of crankcase pressure, and it just wasn't working for me. So we ended up doing 2-12s, which are significantly larger than -10. These are behind the factory baffles, and as you guys know, we added our big puke tank in the side of the car, and we went out and got some data hits. I left the -10s hooked up to the little can, but I might try to cap these off so that way we don't even have to use this can and just run our 2-12s and see what type of data we get with that. We just haven't done that yet, but let's go over to the computer and I'll show you guys the data that we're getting.
All right, guys, I'm gonna throw some data at you real quick here. Now check this out. This was before, okay, so this was my 2-10s and my regular little small breather. Check out, so coolant pressure is crankcase pressure. I just didn't change the name. And look at this sucker rising. And this is only on 27 pounds of boost. Look at that, 14.5 pounds of crankcase pressure, 7,600 RPM, well, 8,300 RPM, 27 pounds of boost. That is some serious crankcase pressure. Now, let's look over at what we got now. All right, here is after Jason's can and additional of 2-12s on the valve cover. Here we have crankcase pressure. Also, look at the amount of boost that I'm running. All right, we get up to 38 pounds of boost, and it peaks right under 3 psi at peak RPM. And then on the shift, it drops down to a pound to 1.5 pounds. Pretty significant jump, guys. Massive data difference. And this is the cool part about, looking at data, being able to really see what the engine's like. And so the 2-12s, the big puke can, big breather, massive difference on crankcase pressure. Even like, look at the amount of boost that I'm running versus before it was only 28 pounds. And I've seen a lot more crankcase pressure. Obviously, as boost climbs, typically your crankcase pressure might rise a little bit, but crazy difference. Now, let's look at 100% ethanol. This is a E85, and check out the crankcase on E85. Granted, a little bit less boost, but look at the crankcase pressure. It's below 1 pound. That's huge. I mean, it's breathing extremely well.
So as you guys saw, huge improvement on crankcase pressure. So what we did here is huge. Motor is going to be a lot happier. I'm not going to push oil out anywhere. I'm not going to be filling up cans and having to, blowing all over the engine bay, which was happening, which was horrible. So we are getting some oil out of our new puke tank. Drained about, I don't know, maybe like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch in a Wendy's drink can. So obviously it's still going to puke some oil out of there, so we will have to empty that. Maybe I'm hoping I can go do a whole race, like say I go 4 or 5 rounds, and I'm hoping I don't have to mess with emptying the can. I'll just have to empty the can after each full race. There's really no way to tell if the can's getting full other than just trying to drain it. So at first you might have to kind of mess with it and see how many races we get before we got to drain the can, but that's going to be in the spring when we start racing more. But for now, it's just street testing, trying to see what we can do. I went out on methanol, car runs fantastic, turbo spools up so much faster, and we were over here messing with spark plugs, trying to get the right mixture and trying to get the spark plugs happy, and I think we're getting really close. But that's going to do it. Real quick data video, guys. I told you guys I was going to show you the data on the crankcase pressure. So if you guys are blowing your dipsticks out, if you guys are leaking a ton of oil past your valve cover, if you're filling up catch cans, you have crankcase pressure. That is a telltale sign. Of course, I have a sensor that can tell me. But if you guys are building up that much crankcase pressure, then there's something going on. It could be a hurt engine, or it could just be the amount of boost that you're running. You need to get some of the blow by out of the motor. So obviously we run pretty good sized ring gaps. So as you increase boost, obviously some boost will push through along with some fuel past the rings, and that's your crankcase pressure. Any type of ethanol or methanol fuels will be much higher than pump gas, and that is because you are trying to compress so much more fuel. Pump gas to E85, you're talking 30 to 40% more fuel you're trying to compress between the head and the piston, and those rings have to hold that pressure and that fuel. Methanol is like double the amount of fuel. So when you start going into methanol and you're trying to compress so much methanol, if you don't have enough timing or you're too rich, you're going to start getting a lot more blow by. So just a little bit of, knowledge that I've been learning. So try to apply it. Again, if you guys are having a lot of leaks, you have bad crankcase pressure and you got to figure out what's going on. But hey, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.